Welcome, I'm Cynthia Greer. I'm talking about the challenges of facing the demonic force when you are a starseed and light worker. This is not a popular topic, and it has never made me the flavor of the month when I have brought it up. But it's necessary for me to do so, as so many of you are dealing with it at this time, whether it is through a family that you incarnated into, narcissistic parents and siblings, relatives, nasty employers, or if you have an internet channel trolling. Because there are many platforms that the demonic force works from. And the main ones are actually called polarity dwellers. So they are found in every aspect of life. They are in the legal field, the medical field, banking, business, real estate, theater arts, whatever. Okay, I can go on and on. But the point that I am trying to make is that they are becoming stronger at this time because they only have a minimal amount of time left before everything is going to collapse in on itself. But in the meantime, they can do a lot of damage. Now, in reality, the demonic force is stupid. Because when you think about it, the only way that it can really get into someone is if they are in a weakened condition and allow themselves to be brainwashed, to be hypnotized through the third eye, the area of the sixth chakra. The other way is if you have dedicated yourself to the light and you are doing fully fledged spiritual work, you can be triggered through an actual psychic attack. Because the higher degree of light you are working with, the more truth that you are bringing forth, maybe in small groups and then on out further into the community and finally to the masses. This draws attention to those forces who have attached to human beings who are open to the kind of work they wish to execute. So if you are being confronted with someone who is an elitist, and they want to make you feel that you are on the lower rung of the social scale, they will do everything they can to demean you and make you feel like you are worthless, that you have nothing to offer, and that you do not deserve to be on this planet. Now, this has already happened in the medical field because in countries where people are being encouraged to go for euthanasia because they have a mental illness or an eating disorder or depression, or they're a veteran that is living with a disability, these people are considered a burden on society. And so they are being denied health care and treatment and offered euthanasia instead. Now, in the USA, especially in the state of California, where I am at, this has gone on heavy duty for the past 15 years. And this is before euthanasia even became legal. They are using people as guinea pigs medically, and when they are maimed, disfigured, and unable to function properly and live a normal life, instead of being given the appropriate treatment that could cure them, they are being basically enticed to exit the body as quickly as possible. And I have dealt with this many times over. A lot of people contact me. I had a disabled mother. I experienced this myself with her, and I have experienced it myself in the healthcare field. So I know what I am talking about, and this is real. It's happening, and in order to fight the demonic force head on, you have to know exactly what you are dealing with. In the case of internet trolling and defamation of character, these individuals are ones who are very afflicted in their personal life and with their mental health as well. And this is why when they do this, if you click onto their channel, there's nothing there. They haven't created any videos. There's no real interaction other than the nasty comments they are making. But what they do is they trigger those who are enlightened, who are providing a service, and goad them into answering them back to get something started in order to waste a lot of time and energy. And this is something myself I have experienced. Many of my friends who are YouTube colleagues have experienced this as well. And so nobody is beneath getting triggered. It happened to me the other day. And I had to stop myself and say, Cynthia, what are you doing here? You know what this is all about. You know what is behind this. Now, a lot of people in the spiritual community argue this point. They're just into spiritual la la land, all love and light. if you don't acknowledge it, it simply is not going to exist. That is erroneous thinking, because in every case I have ever seen with that kind of attitude, there is something festering beneath the surface. Why is that? Well, that negativity, that false positivity, that love and light of how everything is so wonderful, as that is being projected, the darker aspects that have not been addressed at a soul level are continually being repressed. And the more they are repressed, the more they begin to fester beneath the surface, until at one point they cannot be contained and the attacks spew out to others on an outer level. I see the demonic force work in organized religion as well. I came from organized religion. I have visited churches where people were speaking in tongues, and the energy was so thick because it was demonic that you could cut it with a knife. I feel the energy with people who quote scriptures and paste these novellas about how those who do not accept Jesus are going to hell. And I know it is a sight to behold, with the abuse that they are leveling at others, if they even have people left in their personal lives to abuse. So how does the starseed, the light worker, rise above these energies? What you must do, first and foremost, is acknowledge what you are dealing with when you are confronted with it. First off, right off the bat. Because when you do, you are less likely to have an emotional trigger that is going to cause a major conflab. Now, there's a difference between that and speaking the truth. Because I believe that you do have to open up and confront an individual if they are defaming your character and they are attacking you. They have no right to do that. I don't condone abuse of any kind whatsoever. And if anyone comes to me for a reading and I see that they are in an abusive situation, I don't mess around. I tell them to get out. I tell them to call the battered women's shelter, a trusted friend, whatever it is they have to do. And if they're not living with it, well, that's easier. There's always the delete and block buttons and the energy of no contact. This is serious. And this is something that, if not addressed, is going to lead you down the garden path. Another example of how it works is in communities through groups where people are trying to create business networking. And the two things that they don't want you to discuss is religion and politics. Yet those two things are what blackball the majority of people out of creating a prosperous business or attaining solid employment. Why is that? It is because the majority of our population is conditioned to be a mindless drone. You can see this by how willing people are to do whatever they are told, whether it is take a specific shot or a drug for antidepressant to void out the pain. Whatever the case is, when people succumb to that, they will parrot the rhetoric. So they're going to drink the Kool-Aid that is offered. Classic example of this is a while back I was asked to write an article about the housing crisis here in California because it was affecting a number of people who were afraid to come forth. So, as usual, Cynthia said, okay, I'll take the repercussions. This is what I do. I'm in the public eye. Nothing was mentioned about a political party. Yet, that article was deleted by a woman because she expressed that it was political and stated we're not supposed to discuss politics. I felt like I was dealing with the mentality of a kindergartner. Because when you think back to elementary school, what do you hear? How did children act? We're not supposed to do that. We're not supposed to talk about that. So, in other words, the fact that this unfair, overpriced to the point of exorbitancy, 3 times an individual's salary for housing is okay. It's okay to cast out prospective homeowners from a community that could contribute taxes and business and also work with other businesses to keep them going. No, people don't want that. They would rather be under authoritarian rule. So this is how it works. This is how it seeps in. And as a starseed, as a light worker, when you bring out the truth, you're gaslit. You are the one with the problem. You are considered bitter, angry, mean, unreasonable, and rude simply because you are stating facts and bringing it out on an intelligent level. Why is that? Because the demonic force does not like intelligence. It doesn't want anyone to be on this planet who is, because it doesn't want people to thrive, to live a full life. It wants you to be a drone, overworked, overtired, without any love or creativity in your life, because you are strictly here to serve the authoritarians. This is the goal. It is the plan. Now, to combat this, it is going to take grounding and centering in your personal life, in your spiritual life. I mentioned how to do this in my meditations and in my healings. It doesn't matter where you are at right now. If you are living in limitation, if your living conditions are not great, if your finances are not great, you start by creating a functional life for yourself. You start by letting go of all of the dross, all of the bickering, all of the nastiness, all of the controlled energy that is no longer serving you. In closing, I would like to address the fact that many starseeds fall into a trap of thinking because they are from a more highly evolved culture, they simply don't have to deal with any of this. If that were the case, you would not be in a flesh body in an earthly embodiment. It's that simple. This is why you are here. You are here to overcome these energies by facing them head on. And energetically, because you don't always have to do this physically, take the role of the warrior. But speak your truth at all times. I wish you so much love and many blessings.